Petite Street. Today we're going to be doing a book review of a book entitled All About Dollhouses by Barbara L. Farlie. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Before we get into that, of course, I want to invite you, if you would, to like this video, and if you are so inclined, to subscribe. If you have a comment that you'd like to make, you can do that down below, or you can get in contact with me at onepetitestreet@gmail.com. So let's get into a review of this book. It's dated in 1975, and so let's take a look at it. So let's talk a little bit about this book. First of all, about the author, Barbara L. Farlie, was a very interesting person. She passed away only about a year ago, and she was married. Her husband was the mayor of Montclair, New Jersey, from 1996 to 2000. She worked for a firm there for 30 years as an artist. It was Founders Design, and she wrote a number of books, of which, of course, our book, the All About Dollhouses, is one. She wrote books on beading basics, and she wrote a book on needlework, and another book on dollhouses, and also on flower craft. She also holds a had a syndicated TV program in the 70s that focused on creating things with all about crafts. And she did 65 episodes of that. She had 4 children, graduated from Smith College. She actually worked for the FBI for a while. She also worked with Andy Warhol. And she was most proud of being a mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. So that's kind of the background of the author. And so let's get into the book itself and just kind of summarize what it's about. So let's get into the contents of the book and start off with getting started and what that means in doing dollhouses and some of that information. Then the second part, first part also talks about organizations, and so I get to pitch the one I'm a part of, which is a National Associations of Miniature Enthusiasts, name, and she mentions that. I don't know, tried to find out if she were a member. I was not able to find that information. And then it goes to the second chapter, which is Unusual Dollhouses. And here we see one that's built into a window frame, and it shows others that are desktops are built into, in this particular case, into a shelf. And so that was the second chapter, unusual dollhouses, and then it talks about the architecture, different styles, and here has some pictures of, for instance, the colonial style, Georgian, and Victorian style dollhouses, and talks about those for a while and how they're designed. And then the fourth chapter is Principles of Design, and gives a brief definition of the principles of design let's see, there's balance, there's scale, color, texture, and patterns, and symmetry. So that gives you a brief thing on that. So as you're designing your dollhouse, you'll have some of that background. Okay, that was the first section. Then we get into the usual things that we find in the dollhouse book, which is wood, tools, and how to use them. Using books and design. Working with wood. These are all subjects that we find in many of the dollhouse books. And moving along, out of that section, there's a section on building dollhouses in parts of dollhouses, the windows, doors, and gives a description of how to do that. And after that, and here's like making a fireplace, and of course how to do steps. Then there is some interesting pictures of dollhouses, and some of these are from pictures of dollhouses that are they're room boxes that are displayed at the Art Institute of Chicago, the Thorn Miniature Rooms display. And there's information about that down below in the information area. Then she goes into how to make different types of furniture and designs and measurements, and she has a lot of those. One of the interesting one was this bed. It's a Victorian bed, and it's cast iron or some other metal, but there you go. So the rest of the book is how to build these different pieces of furniture. It gives very good details, and so if you're interested in building furniture, there are the designs all through this book of how to do that, and the different periods or different types of buildings that they fit in. So we have that. There is also a series of pictures that probably need to look at here, if I can find them. I showed you the ones, and these are the descriptions of those. And it's connected with the Institute, the Art Institute of Chicago. So you might want to go online and see those. So that's kind of what I wanted to share about this book. In the back, it's about drapery and making lighting. Making things like coffee pots and things like that. So it is a very comprehensive book on how to make things for dollhouses, and you can find it a number of different places. Well, I hope you enjoyed this book review of All About Dollhouses. And if you get an opportunity, you might want to go online and look up the Art Institute of Chicago and look at the room boxes that they have on display there. And I think that maybe can't go right there now, but you can travel through via the internet and see what they have on display. And one of the parts has a little bit of description below each one. And in closing, of course, I want to encourage you to be good to yourself. Find something that interests you to do, and do it. And be good to those around you. Think about what they need, and see if you can't help them. And until next time.